right, and we're back with another episode, and joining me today, the frontman of the Steadies, Earl Pereira. How's it going?
Good, Cody. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Did I butcher that last name? Did I say it
No,
right?
man, you crushed it. That's
Nailed it.
it.
Awesome.
Pereira. Unless you want to roll your R's, you can go Pereira, but
Oh,
nobody does that.
yeah. I don't know. I don't want to push it.
That's too fancy.
All right. All right, man. For starters, those watching who may not know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from.
Well, I am a singer-songwriter, professional musician, producer, engineer, hailing from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, born and raised. Families from the Philippines, and musical family growing up, which led to me starting bands in high school. Eventually, after university, I couldn't resist but drop everything and had an opportunity to tour in a band, which was a smart decision because it ended up turning into a pretty big band called Wide Mouth Mason.
Yeah.
And we got some Junos and got to tour some massive bands like the Rolling Stones and AC/DC and Tragically Hip and many more. After years of that and learning the ropes of the music industry, it felt like I came to a point where you hit that point when you're in a band for that long. Do you keep going with it? Or do you want to start something new? And I chose to start a new path, which became the Steadies, which is what I'm doing right now, man.
Awesome. And touring with artists like the Rolling Stones and AC/DC and stuff, is there a favorite memory that you have being on tour with these guys?
Well, I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
I think recently, having lost Malcolm Young, and yeah, it's been tough. Just seeing these icons and idols that I looked up to and got to share the stage with, having passed away, just it puts things in perspective. But lots of great memories watching all these greats play. Charlie Watts, rest in peace. He was a big influence on me for sure. Just more so off the stage, just how he interacted with their crew and how he interacted with the opening band, including myself. He'd spend time with me and pick my brain about music and had a little notepad, and he'd write down
Nice.
artists I would suggest. And then the next day on tour, he'd have the CDs. He'd be listening to them. He good suggestions. I'm like, oh my God, he actually listened to me, So that's a pretty great moment. Having a terrifying moment with Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, kicking me out of his massage room.
Oh.
That was pretty fun. And just watching Mal Young, saw through picks like they were buzz saws. So, but the biggest takeaway I got from watching these people is how great their greatness comes from their consistency. They're great every night, no matter what the situation. If they're one night, Mick Jagger was deathly ill. I don't know. He had a really bad flu, and he didn't look like it. He played like, he was the most energetic version of himself that night. It was like watching Michael Jordan and
Right.
flu game. It's like that. And who was also, I'm a big fan of sports as well, and it all kind of ties in and it influences me because I always remember that if we're playing on a stage and there's 5 people in the crowd, it's the staff you're playing for. You just gotta give it your all, no matter what the situation is. And if anything, you do it for yourself, you do it for your bandmates.
Absolutely. Yeah. Play like there's 20,000 people in there.
Exactly. Well, there's that story. I mean, U2 got signed. There was only 3 people in the bar. One happened to be the head of their record label, and I think they put on a crazy show, as the story goes. And I think Bono was climbing the rafters during, singing from the rafters and stuff like that. And look what happened to them. So you just never know who's out there.
That's right. Awesome. And you've also jammed on stage with KJ Appa, correct?
Yeah, yeah, that wasn't too long ago. It was a couple years ago. He I've been watching his show, Riverdale. You know, I did like the Archie comics, and I was like, I started watching the show, and then next thing you know, we're in Vancouver, performing at the Guild and Co, one of my favorite venues to play at, and he's on the dance floor singing along to some of the. We played a couple covers that night, and he was singing along, and I recognized him, and the whole cast was there. And so after the first set, I just invited him up to on stage because watching the show, I knew he could play guitar
Right.
because that's part of his character, right? He's wanting to be a musician of Archie Andrews' character, and he was seemed really excited. He had told me that he had been coming to the Guilt and Co to try to jam with bands, and then no one had let him on stage yet. So for me to ask him to come play, I think he really appreciated that, and he could really play. It was awesome. We jammed for probably half an hour, and the place went crazy, and a whole bunch of media found out about it.
Yep.
Like TMZ found out about it, and that was the only positive thing I've ever seen TMZ, do.
Right.
And I saw it on TMZ. I was like, "Uh-oh, what are they gonna say?" That we sucked, or like what's going on? And it was like KJ Appa shreds with Canadian rock band or something like that. It was something great. So
That's very cool. And for someone who hasn't heard your music before, how would you describe your sound to them?
well, usually in a couple words. Island rock is a good description of it. If we get a little more detail, it's a lot of sounds I like to combine to create the sound of the group, and we combine, definitely pop rock, kind of a throwback to when pop rock bands kind of ruled the the scene and the airwaves in the late '80s and stuff, early '90s, which is some of my favorite music. And I love ska and reggae and rock steady, of course. That's blended in there. And then I like to also bring some of the soul and the funk grooves into the sounds. You got to have that, get
Yep.
people dancing, right? And just to bring that energy, and then yeah, wrapped up in a dance rock kind of undertone. So that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And from your past with music and stuff, when was the moment that you kind of realized you had an audience watching you and listening to your music?
Well, I think it was when I had started my own project. I was still performing with Wide Mouth. It was kind of towards the end of our run, and I had started my own project to stay busy. At that point, we had kind of we'd slowed down on touring quite a bit. We went from playing 300 shows a year to 30 shows a year. So I like staying busy, and I love to play. So I'd book shows for my group in places like Banff, where we'd play all night, and it would be people from all over the world. Europeans and Australians and Americans. Everybody is in Banff, and when we'd start throwing in original songs, original Steadies songs, and early on, and the reaction I got really gave me the confidence to know that the music is actually maybe the most appealing thing at music I've ever made up at that point to people, because everyone was into it. From didn't matter where country they came from, didn't matter what language they spoke, and that really gave me some confidence to feel like I think I'm onto something. I think I'm doing something right. Not only do I love the music I'm making, but other people seem to really love it too. And age wise, with 18-year-olds in there and to 50-year-olds, like it's it's kind of cool. And it's still like that. We'll play a festival and it'll be pretty much everybody you can think of in a crowd. And I love that. That shows that the diversity of what hopefully just humanity in general should be. You know, everyone should be able to enjoy music together, no matter where you're from or what color you are or what gender you are.
Absolutely. Awesome. And
Yeah.
let's talk about influences. Do you have, I always try to divide them up. Do you have specific influences just for songwriting and then just for performing?
I do actually. That's a great question. For songwriting, I mean, there's songwriting something I was probably my weakest skill back in the day, and I took it upon myself to and singing because I wasn't the lead singer before. So I took it upon myself to really hone those two skills and take them a lot seriously. So I did some music conferences as a performance coach, which is my bread and butter. Like I am a performer first, and I think I have a lot to offer younger up and coming artists when it comes to the realm of performing. I mean, I have played 3,000 shows, so
Yeah.
that's something, right? And big stages, all stages. So for performing, I some of the first performers that really got me uh, really hyped up were like watching Bob Marley, watching the Police, their energy, their ability to engage. Um, Prince, all-time best, like Michael Jackson. I mean, the greats like Otis Redding. Just watching them. Even an artist like Lenny Kravitz is might not be everyone's cup of tea. Like I'm not the hugest Lenny fan in the world, but his performing ability is like top notch, and just how explosive he can be
For sure.
on stage, getting from point A to point B, and do it in such a cool way. And so I really try to absorb some of that into my performing. When it comes to songwriting, I mean, Gord Downey is always going to be near the top of the list. He's the master, and he's Canadian, and I've gotten to get to know him a little bit and got to share the stage with him as well, and learn. So I mean, I think any Canadian songwriter is going to have him on the top of their list. Also, there's a he may not be a well-known name in music, but he is in the songwriting world. His name is Ralph Murphy.
Okay.
So Ralph is also Canadian. Passed away last year. So rest in peace. And he wrote the book on songwriting. Basically, he wrote a number one hit in every decade since the 60s,
Wow.
including this decade.
Wow.
So yeah, he became one of those Nashville ninja freaking songwriters, right? You know, one of those amazing just hit machines. And so I got to spend some time with him at a music conference. I was a performance coach. He was the songwriting coach. And man, did I ever learn a lot from him. That was about 10 years ago now. And since then, every time I write a song, I always think of, okay, what would Ralph say if I
Right.
showed him this song? Because I remember I was trying to, since we were both mentors, I got some special time with him, you know, that not everyone got. You know, we could be sitting having a drink at a lounge.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to slip in, hey, Ralph, like, would you want to like critique a couple of my songs? You know, just and sure, he pulled out the glasses, his red pen, like he was like a grade 5 teacher or something, right? And I go reach for my at that time an iPod, and he was like, no, I don't want to listen to it. I just want to see it. I want to read it. Like, okay, so like write it out. He's like, yeah, write it out. So I wrote out the song on like a napkin,
Yeah.
gave it to him, and sure enough, he's crossing things off. He's saying, oh, your second verse should be your first verse, and what does this mean in this chorus? What are you trying to say? Like, it doesn't, you know, I don't know what you're talking about even.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, that was really eye-opening for me, and reading his book and just watching his tutorials and just seeing how he worked made me just really take it very seriously from that point on. And now I feel like songwriting is fun and easy, and I look forward to it every time.
Awesome. All right,
Mhm.
man. Let's talk about your music now. Your
Sure.
new single, Light Me Up. Tell us about it and how it all
Yeah.
comes together.
Well, Light Me Up is a song I started writing last summer, I guess 2020. And I have been chatting with a good friend of mine. He's a singer from another band called Delhi to Dublin. They're from Vancouver. They'd been together for 15 years, 14 years, and done some great things. And they're more in the electronic and world music scene. Um, but the vibe of their band and ours is very similar. You know, it's high energy. People love to dance. People love to really get into it. And so we share the stage a bunch. And him and I always thought it'd be cool to write something together, someday. And what better time than during COVID when you couldn't really do much anyways. So we did it over Zoom sessions and phone calls and text messages and emails, sending files back and forth. I sent him a demo of the song, and he started adding his verse to it, and which was great because I didn't have a verse. So the melody he wrote for his verse I thought was brilliant. So I kind of took that melody and wrote my verse using his melody, and I already had the chorus, kind of pretty much done, and then presented to the band, and everyone put in their influences. Curtis on the beats, and Chris and Jesse on guitars and vocals, and it just turned into a pretty special project for us to do a great collab, because him and I, Sanjay and I, that's the name of the other songwriter, being friends for many years, we just did it for fun. We didn't plan for it to be a single. We didn't plan for it to be anything other than let's do this just because we want to do it. And then our record label, who we got signed to recently, Bristol Records and Copperline Music, they jumped on it. They heard the demo and said, okay, well, when this is ready, when you guys finish recording it, this is going to be the first single, which ended up being like about a month ago. So,
There you
so here
go.
we are. Yeah.
Perfect. And available on all platforms. Obviously.
Available on all platforms. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think it's been getting a great response. And the thing I love about it the most is that it's sort of one of those songs that is kind of a feel good song. Which I think is pretty important right now, especially when, just when things were starting to kind of feel like they were opening up in the summer, and for them to go completely backwards the
Right.
last couple of months. I thought that, it wasn't meant to happen, but the song is, I've got some comments from people saying how it's just listening to it sort of just picks up their spirits a little bit.
Sure. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good positive message for sure.
Absolutely. And you have a music video out for it.
We do. Yeah, we shot the video on tour in August. So we actually were able to put together I think we did 16 shows in August,
Okay.
16, 17 around there. And while we were on the island, which is like our favorite kind of place to be touring wise, that's where Sanjay lives. He lives on Galliano Island, and we just thought, hey, let's time it out so that when we're there, let's do a music video for this. We knew the single was going to come out in beginning of October, so perfect timing. If we're going to get a video done, now's the time.
Time, yeah.
Time, right? The videos aren't the easiest thing to make, and especially to make a good one. And so proud of it. The video team did an amazing job. We shot it on a place called Hole in the Wall. It's near Port Alberni.
Okay.
And it's this like pretty epic looking like Blue Lagoon type place. You got to walk, down this rocky hill to get to this opening of this ravine, and almost like a little swimming hole.
Right.
And there's a natural made hole through a rock or a mountain, I guess. And you can look right through it. You can walk through it. You got to climb up this waterfall to get to it. So it was really pretty epic looking. And crazy story is we actually there were some kids swimming in the area, And as we were getting ready to shoot, we heard a giant like crack noise, and we were like, "What is happening?" And it was a tree breaking off and like landing into the water,
Oh, geez.
and everyone was like yelling at these kids to like get out of the way. And this like little 7-year-old kid like saw it coming at him, and he had the presence of mind to just totally jump out of the way before he got crushed. And it was like we all sat there just like, what
Is
just
it time?
happened? It's
Yeah.
insane. Like who, what, why did that happen? And so that was a memorable moment from the video shoot for sure. And it is something that definitely, I don't know, it seemed like a good omen that no one was injured. And they're like, okay, I think this video is gonna go pretty well.
Absolutely. Awesome. I'll make sure that is the link is down below in the description as well so people can check it out.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you have any shows lined up that people can look forward to
Yeah,
coming?
we did a fall tour for the single. We it was about 10 dates. And so now most of those dates are done. So we're just kind of playing one-off shows right now.
Okay.
We're in Regina this weekend, and we have some other dates. We're playing at Curling Canada event later in the month. Our drummer's actually in Peru right now,
Oh, nice.
so we got to wait till he gets back after that. So we have the original drummer actually of the band. Still, he's still a bro. He's still part of the family, and he can fill in. He's the sort of the best person you could have to fill in, because I mean, I played 500 shows with the guy, so
Right.
it's great. So he'll be playing with us this weekend and holding the fort down until Curtis gets home. And yeah, we just locked in a New Year's Eve show up in northern Alberta,
Awesome.
Grand Prairie, where our drummer's from. He's going to be there visiting family, so timing worked out pretty good. All me and the rest of the guys are just gonna meet him up there and be our first New Year's Eve show together. Actually,
Oh,
yeah,
there you go. Perfect moment.
yeah.
Awesome. With that being said, what else is next for you?
Well, we are working on the album that Light Me Up is part of. It's in the works. It's sounding like we're going to be releasing it in 3 stages. So we're gonna have a batch of songs come out early in the new year, and then another batch in the summer, and then the last batch of songs will come out in the fall as the rounding out a full album.
Wow.
So pretty busy. Yeah, and looking into some international touring. There's some chatter about us being able to maybe tour in Mexico in January. So you don't need visas, which I like a lot. And but yeah, we're kind of due for an international tour. We haven't done one since pre-COVID. We had toured Europe and toured Asia. So it's just something that's like a big goal of the band, is just touring as many countries, see, and just travel, because we all love traveling. And I mean, it's the best way to do it is to get paid to do it.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And you don't need visas to do that?
You don't need visas in Mexico. No,
Oh,
no, you do in the States, you do in the UK. You don't in Europe, and you don't need them in Australia either. So um, yeah, I think Australia, New Zealand, if I had my choice there, we would be there in the new year as well. But we'll have to see how things pan out with the old Corona, seeing where things are at in
yeah.
countries. If they're gonna let us Canadians into their country, right? So
Yeah.
as soon as we hear that we're good to go, then I'm gonna start planning and start booking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Perfect. All right, man. Last thing, tell
sure.
everyone they can find you on social media.
Well, real easy. All of our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, is just at the Steadies. TheSteadies. And please, give us a follow, and send us a message. Even we're really good at getting back to every single person that sends us a message or puts a comment out there. And We love interacting with our fans. So yeah, please send us a message and spread the word about the band. If you like what you hear and like what you see, we got lots of music out there for you to catch up on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube as well.
Perfect. All right, guys, go grab his newest single, Light Me Up, with the Steadies. And Earl, thanks so much, man, for taking the time today.
Anytime, Cody. It was great chatting with you, man.
Yeah, you as well. Take care, and we'll chat soon.
You betcha. Cheers.
All right, see ya.
See ya.